I really think that's like what you're talking about with big commercial artists coming in. It's almost like a validation in a sense.
It's a hope thing for kids. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe Lil Baby has been in Boston.
Yeah, like the Lil Baby thing is huge because it's like, okay, this is a guy who's like kind of at the top of his game right now. He's
in
like,
the industry.
Yeah, throughout the country. Like, he's got hits with... He has 9 billion streams, which is crazy. Like, that's wild to think about.
Josh also, he helped mix Baby. I can say that. That's fine.
Baby
It's out.
got
I know. You know how I feel about that record. Hi, I'm Josh Schuback.
And I'm Mike Kendler.
And this is our golden hour.
Oh God, what's going on? Where am I going? Dad?
Yes, my son. I am Deuce, the deer god.
I'm so confused. Who am I?
Derek. Your true name is DERCULES.
Wait, what?
Yes. You are DERCULES, the god of the forest. Season 5. Hosted by your favorite podcast host, Big Bochi. You already know the deal, motherfucker. What's up?
Why would you double clap?
I thought you said double clap.
Listen. Before we
begin,
we've already begun. But this is how I start the episodes now. Hey, everybody. If you're listening or you're watching, I'm Conor Holway. On Instagram, I'm Big Bochi. I got a lot of aliases for myself. But if you get any sort of value from this episode, and I mean any sort of value, you're entertained, you learn something helps you out, dude, just share it with a friend. Just share that episode or share that podcast with a friend.
Or your family.
That's a great idea.
Random strangers as well.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Got it.
Stupid idea, Mike.
Got it.
But nonetheless, this is the Golden Hours podcast. And let's start the episode. Dun, dun, dun! So, the podcast recently has taken a business shift, which I've noticed. I've actually been enjoying a lot. You know, me and you, we love talking about business. We think we're a lot more successful than we are. And so I've been fascinated with business. And so probably the last 10, 15 episodes have been professionals. This episode is not necessarily professionals, but it is a bunch of great guys having an awesome time. And so I do want to make sure that we have at least 1 or 2 points in the episode where we can get a clip of value for people. And so I have some good questions I think I can ask you for value, a.k.a. Surf Mike, a.k.a. Radiating Skin Mike. And then in the middle, we have young Rick Rubin, who's actually kind of at the head of a lot going on in Boston music. So I feel like we'll be able to kind of get something for the kids for that. Would you guys concur?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
We're on the same page?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, with that being said, on my right, in the middle, actually looking straight at us, Abu, can you give us a little audio?
What up? What up?
Look at that, bro. That's a different dynamic.
Do we have a camera on Abu?
Nah, we'll get one. Though.
We'll get a.
We should get that GoPro.
Yeah, the GoPro.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, this is nice. I like having you on. This is great.
Thank you.
So Big Fresh is in the building. Shout out to Big Fresh. In the middle, I have my stepbrother.
Still doing that.
Step bro, a.k.a. Josh Schuback. Schubinsky. You want to give a quick synopsis of who you are and what you do?
Yeah. I work at Phoenix Down Recording, engineer and producer over there. And that's basically my life.
Josh has been on the podcast before.
True.
Back in an earlier stage of the show.
Yeah, I think it was February.
Yeah. And Josh kind of undercut himself a little bit. Josh has been working with major artists. And dude, when's your birthday?
October.
So Josh is only 21. And right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's been working with major artists in the city. And he's had kind of a chaotic year in terms of career. And not to mention, he's still a full-time student.
It's true. Senior at Tufts University.
Great. And then on my right, you guys don't know this character, but I do.
Legend.
Honestly, we could talk about your government name. Just say, hey, it's Mike Kendler. But
Mike Kendler's my government name.
okay.
Mike
But
Kendler.
I was just gonna say Surf Mike's in the building.
People know me by Surf Mike. I don't know how to surf.
Has that started to spread yet?
No.
It's just Josh.
Okay, you want to give a quick synopsis of who you are and what you do?
Sure. I would say the first thing is I'm a senior with Josh at Tufts University. I study international relations, but I'm not interested in that. My two interests are music and plant-based life
And being a good guy.
and being a good guy.
It's also his birthday in a couple of days.
Are you young too?
22.
Oh, so you're both old.
Yeah, we're like two of the older kids.
You're old for the grade.
Mm-hmm.
Boo's birthday was 2 days ago, right?
What's today? Yeah.
Oh, happy belated, man.
Thank you.
Man, it's big.
Did you guys
trash.
meet at Tufts?
Yeah.
Word.
Okay, so let's start off on Mike.
Talk to me.
So Josh has been holding it down at Phoenix Down for what now, like a year and a half?
Yeah.
Let me just can you just move this stool a little bit so when you're looking at me, you just get that, you'll feel that. Yeah, move it this way so you can get that robust hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir, robust.
Sublimes.
So you've been at the studio since when?
Started as an intern February of my sophomore year of college. So, like, this February will be 2 years. of me,
Oh,
like,
no
being-
way. So it's longer than I thought.
Yeah, but in the beginning, it was like I'd come in one day a week, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't serious at all. There'd be weeks where I didn't come in at a time.
And you
I
were the
was-
sole intern, right?
Yeah, there was, like, an intern from Berkeley College of Music who would come in every now and then, but, like,
Too smart.
yeah, they just weren't that into it. So, like, it was really just me. And the studio was so different back then, you know, like, it was just John. So, like,
Was it physically different, the space?
yeah, the B room was was terrible.
I've seen pictures. It was
Yeah,
it was
like
a
the
trap.
desk was on the other
Yeah.
side. The couch was disgusting. The live room was a mess. Upstairs was a mess. There was no C room yet. It was really just like
So
a A
what
room.
what was in the C room?
It was just a lot of. There was no like walls or anything. It was just shelves.
Damn,
Yeah.
that would have made your life way harder, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first day I came, there was this box I remember, and John was just like, "I ordered this shelf. You know how to set this stuff up?" And I was like, "Of course." Had no idea. Spent like
That was
3
probably
hours.
such an adjustment for him having like an employee. It was probably
Yeah.
like, dude, what
But
the
like the
hell?
only place that made money in the studio at that time was the A room and John. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was very different.
Yeah, so I wonder how long it took for him from the inception of the idea, like, hey, okay, I'm making money here. I can start making money out of this room too. How long do you think from start to finish that started
I
happening?
know exactly when it happened. It was when he went to Miami with Jeezy on one of the trips, and they ended up going to DJ Khaled's mansion, like the We the Best Studios, and he saw how he ran it, and it was, you know, a lot of engineers, a lot of producers, and DJ Khaled almost in like this, like CEO role, overseeing everything. Maybe not as hands-on.
He was
but,
just like a facilitator. Kind
yeah,
of.
like getting people connected. You know, this guy needs to be working with that guy. I need this engineer working on that record. And then that kind of like gave John the idea, like, I can implement that same business model here and like have people working under me.
So I think that's one thing that, Mike, you probably learned too from being in the studio is like, and one thing I think you guys are doing a really good job at, and like Josh, you've gotten much better at too, is just like operation and facilitation. Is that like one thing you think you've learned from the studio?
Yeah, I would say, so for those who don't know, I worked at Josh's studio. I worked there for probably a month and a half, 2 months total, and I was basically just an operations person, like organizing things.
He made it spick and span, man.
Yeah, cleared out the live room, organized a whole upstairs, created an inventory, just kind of got it together. And
you guys had some good chemistry working together too.
It was palpable, I would say.
Can you elaborate on palpable?
When we were in the same room, everyone knew that we were in the same room, even if you couldn't see us.
Yeah,
That was the energy.
I loved working with Mike.
Good. I love that.
No, we had a great time.
You're a great guy.
The
Continue, yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I would say I did learn is that ideas are a bunch of garbage. Like, if you want to do something, you have to just do the thing. You just have to do it because it won't get done. People love throwing out ideas for things, and they're like, oh, great idea. You're cool. You're not cool. Do the thing.
Execution is the game.
You have to do it.
Would you concur?
Yeah, definitely. That happens all the time.
It's literally only about getting stuff done.
Yeah. Like, you can talk a good game, but I just care about what you've done and what you're doing.
Big Fresh, would you agree as a young creative? It's tough because a lot of creatives are space brained, and so they have a ton of ideas and they never get anything done. But how it's tough to progress if you have like a career in the arts and you're not putting stuff out.
Yeah, well, that was what I think was interesting about Mike at the studio. Was like, that's kind of how everyone saw. Everyone was like, Mike just gets stuff done.
Yes,
Because a lot of us, like myself included, would do a lot more talking than doing when it came to like stuff that needed to get done. Not creatively, but like business wise or stuff like that at the studio. And Mike just came in every morning and just went to work.
Mike, you're heavy on having a good schedule for yourself, huh?
What was that?
Can you elaborate? You're heavy on like time management, good schedule.
Yeah.
That's pretty unheard of for a college student. I was actually the same way. Not to do dirt off my shoulder, but I'm sure everyone like sleeps in, is totally hungover. You wake up.
Why are you pointing at me?
I went like this, like, dude, Tufts is that way. You know what I'm saying? But have you noticed that like your time management efficiency is different than most of the other students?
For some people, for sure, but I think you gotta balance everything. If you load up your schedule with a billion things and you spread yourself thin, then you can't devote you can't devote your energy to one individual task. But if you put a lot on your plate and you say, I care about all of these things equally, then you don't have an option to be disorganized, because then you won't give energy to things you care about. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing is just being organized and then following through.
Yeah, I mean, this is one thing that I think, Josh, you and I have talked about a bunch too, is like, not even to sound like an old head. I've done it like a couple times with you, but when I was at school, I was in like the same position as you. I had this whole life going on outside of school, and other kids necessarily wouldn't understand it.
Yeah.
Because it's like college, you're supposed to just get smacked up, meet some shorties, you know what I'm saying? But you're career oriented.
Yeah.
And is it a tough balance for you? Because it's like, shit, this is like my last time to like enjoy college, but I also got all this stuff booming for me.
Yeah, for sure. Like last year was a little different because I guess I didn't have as much work at the studio yet. So like, it was more of like a school first, work second balance. But like after this summer, like my role at the studio has changed a bit. So I'm still trying to figure out like what the balance is between school, like hanging out with my friends and doing fun stuff, and then work. Like Tuesday night was a great example. Like all my friends and stuff went to like this bar for like the first senior bar night.
Was it White Horse?
That's
pub,
that's
we
not
call
what it's
it.
called.
You're thinking of Dark Horse.
Dark Horse?
Yeah.
White Horse is a BC bar.
There's a White Horse, yeah.
It's a BC bar.
Many
Okay.
horses around Boston area.
Too many demons.
Paul Revere's came on his horse. You know what he said?
The British.
The British are
coming.
coming.
Nice.
The British are
We're
coming.
geniuses.
Yeah, you guys are.
But yeah, like
toughs,
I had to go to work Tuesday night, so like I didn't get to go, and I'm not upset about it. I don't think I missed much,
You
but
didn't.
still. Thanks.
I think you do a good job. I think like Josh he'll come to me and be like, Friday or Saturday night, which one do I need to be home? And I'll speak to the powers that be, and I'll say, Saturday night, that's the big night.
It's the mental, though. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah, that's the huge thing. Like when I'm at work, I don't want to be thinking about what I'm missing. I want to be focused on work. And when I'm hanging out with my friends, I don't want to be thinking about, damn, I should be at work.
That is tough.
So like I think it's really just about like when you're doing one or the other, putting in 100% and like giving it your all. That way you like did what you could. But also like I have 5 months left of school because I'm gonna be done after the semester, and like I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I know work will still be there after the 5 months. All my friends won't be.
Yeah, that's a fact. Well, they will be if you're friends with them.
Yeah, but like I live within. We've talked about this before. We all live 10 minutes from each other.
Yeah, that's fire.
crazy.
That's one thing.
That's never gonna happen again.
Exactly. That's one thing I miss about school is like you live with your friends full time, and like you also, when you're at school, you have a market too. I'm surprised like you guys haven't tried to start up any business within school yet. Have you guys tried to sell anything?
What do you mean?
Like you have like a captive market on a college campus. You can sell stuff. You can start up products. You can start up ideas. I'm surprised, Surf Miggity, you haven't tried to fire anything up with your innovative
Surf
brain.
Miggity?
I don't know if I'm that innovative. I feel like,
I think you're selling yourself short, man.
do you think so?
I sell you up big, don't I?
He's not that innovative.
I don't feel like I'm that innovative.
Dude, you made an amazing shelving unit.
That's true.
That's not
But
innovation.
That was not
Dude, you know how to call IKEA.
I feel like you don't know what innovation means.
Dude, innovation is like when you do that thing and that other thing happens. You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all.
I don't know.
You're right, though.
Do you
There are a
understand what I'm
lot of
saying?
people. There are a lot of people who,
Who you know.
yes.
Who are like, oh my God, look at this kid in our class that's starting up this idea. Dude, well, 100% buy his stuff.
Like, you're thinking about like trying to sell stuff to like kids in our class and stuff like that.
Or just starting anything. Like, I think kids should start music at school. You should just try as much as you can.
I don't know. I like somewhat know the music scene at Tufts and like, it's alright.
It's not mixing for cowboy.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of kids are like into jazz and stuff, which is cool, but that's just not.
Yeah, you know, you're feeling it. You got
Yeah.
those jag glasses on, though, boy. Yes, sir. I like those
Thank you.
for sure.
Does Cowboy record at Phoenix?
Yeah, he
'Cause I
doesn't,
saw-
but like he has.
I saw that dude, Isaiah Valmont. He got a
Oh, you know?
placement. And I follow him on Instagram,
Word.
but that was crazy.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, that was like through the T Drape.
Right.
He got Cowboy on.
Is
the,
T Drape from Boston?
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, T Drape.
I hadn't heard of him before that.
I think it might come out this Friday. It has a song with Cowboy that
Yeah.
Zay produced.
And you mixed it?
Yeah,
Let's
Fine.
go.
100 racks, baby. Go check it out. It's gonna
100
be YouTube video dropping Friday.
Is it 100 racks or 100 racks?
100 racks.
Okay. Like they spelled it with the numbers or?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
It's like 100.
yeah, 100 racks. It's fire. That was dope because Cowboy came in to do one feature for him, and T Drape had like 3 songs with an open verse on each one, and he was gonna let Cowboy pick his favorite. Cowboy came in, did the feature, we're like, mixing it down, like finishing up, and he was just like, fuck it, pull up another one. Ended up doing this one after he had already like done the feature that he was paid for, and killed it. Like this one, he bodied.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was dope. Like he basically did another verse for free, and like that's one I think is gonna come out.
I think it seems like that happens a lot at the studio, though. People come in and do one thing, like especially with the Lil Baby stuff, and then it just people
Yeah.
just end up locking in.
Well-
That's the one thing about the studio. It's like there's an authentic vibe to it, so people feel comfortable there.
That's what people always say. Like when they're like, it's not like, not to throw shade, but it's not like cyber sound or
Yeah.
something.
It's not like OD professional.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have that corporate vibe.
You feel the same way?
Yeah, totally. There's like the red couches. There's like a ping pong table. Like,
It's haunted.
is it haunted?
Is it haunted?
If you go upstairs and you listen closely, you hear sounds that you don't hear elsewhere. That's all I have to say.
Hey, I concur.
That's probably Studio Mike's spirit still lingering around.
Studio Mike the legend, who was on the podcast.
He was. T Drape was on the podcast too, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Geechee sat on the episode.
Geech.
Geech,
Shout out
yo.
Geech.
So, real quick, we'll get back to the Boston music stuff. But, Mike, you come in, right? Fresh off working for the PGA Tour. Fire.
Yeah.
Well, can you elaborate on that experience just a little bit?
Yeah, so I worked as a runner for Fox Sports, who happened to be contracted for the U.S. Open.
A production runner
Yes, production runner.
for
So,
a live TV set type thing.
yeah, pretty much. So basically, I was out in Monterey, California for about 10 days just doing all of the little things. Kind of similar to what I was doing in the studio, whether it was as small as like refilling water coolers or even like talking to players, like PGA golfers. Runners really just do like the lowest level of stuff. But
it's like being a PA.
it basically is a PA role. But it was an incredible experience. I play golf at Tufts, so I loved that. It was super fun.
Tufts golf captain.
You're the captain?
1 of 4.
Dude.
All the
why do you
seniors
keep
are
selling
captain.
yourself short, man?
Because I can't say I'm the captain. That's not true.
That's not what I said. You're a captain.
Okay.
You could say you're the captain. It would be egotistical.
He's
but-
not the captain.
I'm
Shout
the
out
captain.
B-Car.
V-Car?
B-Car is the captain.
Oh, so you're like one of those sub-captains.
I'm the captain of nutrition and wellness on the team.
That's a fact. So let's get into that.
That
Tell
was,
me.
That was self-appointed.
That was a great segue. Listen, Mike. So one thing about Mike is he'd come around the studio, man, trying to spread all that propaganda, boy. Yes, sir. That's Surf Mike, plant-based vegan propaganda. And so we ran an episode with Nick Rakuya of Keto Brownie. Great kid. Great dude.
Great guy.
I also tried the Keto Brownie, bro. It's actually dope. It's amazing.
I'm sure it tastes like a brownie.
It did. And it's like, oh my God, I'm on that GDP crucifix diet anyway, and this is good for me. This is amazing, dude.
I wish it was good for you.
You know what?
Boom.
Say that to my washboard six pack. No, I'm just playing. But no, but for real. But so Mike would come around the studio with this propaganda, the vegan propaganda. But listen, I am not going to discredit it. The one thing I will say that me and Josh had a little bit of a shtick behind your back is that some of the meals you prepared did look like NASA food, like something they would serve astronauts. So can you just kind of elaborate on why you...
Can I just speak? That's because he wasn't a very good cook. He's getting better.
I was under a time constraint. Can we admit that?
Have you ever seen an
saw
old lean cuisine?
That has nothing to do with the diet, though. It has to do with Mike and his under seasoning of food.
It was like this big, blown out eggplant or squash with
it was a
beans.
yam. It was a
yam.
With just black beans.
Connor, you saw a sweet potato and black beans, and you said, "What planet is this from?"
Dude, it looked extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
So, so are you not enjoying it anymore?
I love it.
Okay, can you kind of start off on why you chose to go plant-based in the first place? Because I think this is a lot of people are interested.
Yeah, all kidding aside, I'm super passionate about it, so I'm happy to talk. Originally, so my sister was whole food plant-based, or that's like the dietary version of vegan, for about a year before me. And just full disclosure, I was calling her crazy at the time. I was like, her name is Maddie. I was like, Maddie, you're vegan? That's crazy. Like, you got to stop that. Eat some chicken. I was saying that back then.
You were eating bacon back then, too?
I was loving burgers. A bison burger. Loved it.
Bison burger, great.
Cheese, like eggs, all that stuff. Loved it. And so she sent me this study, this very famous study by the father of plant-based medicine named Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. And there was 200 people in this study.
Sounds like a vegan.
Yeah, big time.
Fat vegan.
Yeah, but not fat. Very slim.
No, like PHAT.
Yes. Yeah. So in this study, there were 200 very sick people who all had cardiac disease. Their plaques were their arteries were full of plaque. And as a last resort chance at life, they agreed to the study where they went on a whole food plant-based diet. Now what that means is they ate only vegetables, fruits, nuts, legumes, no oils, no processed foods, no refined sugars.
And no meat.
And no meat. No fish, no eggs, no dairy, etc.
Which, to be fair, is like different than like just what being a vegan entails.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Being a vegan, I can have Ben & Jerry's non-dairy ice cream.
Yeah, that seems like it's like a paleo diet without eating meat.
It's a whole food diet without anything paleo.
Which is what a... No, well...
You can have nuts on paleo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by whole food? Is that like just
so
non-processed?
A whole food is like an apple, like a potato,
It comes from the earth.
Okay.
It just is in its natural form. Whereas like a processed food is like Doritos or something like that.
Potato chips.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Nothing from a factory.
Exactly. And so in this study of 200 people who were very sick, about 40 of them saw complete reversal of their heart disease. So literally after 3 years, their arteries no longer had plaque in them, and they lived many, many years after this. And that's something that has never been seen before in any other diet.
When was the study?
I want to say...
Couldn't have been that long ago.
No, this was like early 2000s or like 2010 maybe.
Oh, so Dr. Esselstyn is still around?
Yeah, he's old, but he's still around.
Sounds like he's like a historic figure.
Yeah. But that like blew my mind pretty much. Like people just went off all of the medication they were taking, which was supposedly to help them live longer, and they just ate foods and then they lived a really healthy life.
Is heart disease running your family?
What's that?
Does heart disease run in your family?
No, but essentially what we've learned from a whole food vegan diet is that you can cure, reverse, or at least treat like many of the leading killers of our people. Like heart disease is responsible for 1 in 4 deaths in the United States. There's atherosclerosis, there's strokes, diabetes, all these things. Even Alzheimer's. There's a lot of research about Alzheimer's and neurodegenerative diseases. Like these things do not exist at the same rates in cultures that eat very little animal products.
Okay. So I understand, and Josh, I'm going to try to work you in on this too. So did you also try to go vegan for a little bit?
Yeah.
What were some benefits that you felt cognitively?
Waking up was the biggest one cognitively for me.
You didn't feel groggy?
Yeah. And I think part of that was like not eating right before I went to bed too. But like, yeah, Mike kind of showed me the stuff that he was just talking about. Watched a documentary that had Dr. Esselstyn in it. And yeah, really, I was just like, I'm going to try this for 30 days, see what happens. And cognitively felt great.
There also could be a placebo effect with it too.
Definitely. But physically, like, just like, I definitely was eating like crap beforehand, so it was kind of a stark difference.
It was also like it was probably like stifling your habit though too. It was like, I'm eating like shit. Okay, now I'm eating clean. I kind of feel like a little more confident in my eating decisions.
Yeah, and I just didn't feel bloated after I ate, which was like big. As weird as that
I hate, like, how much do you hate feeling bloated now?
I mean, like, I rarely do, but it's not a good feeling.
But when you do, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, why do I feel that?
That's the same way I feel. That's what the kids would call inflammation.
Yeah.
Familiar with the term?
100%.
So, like, most diets now, in terms of disease and, like, trying to prevent bad stuff from happening to you, you want a diet that is minimal inflammation.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, and every time we eat animal protein, whether it's eggs, fish, chicken, beef, that creates an immediate inflammatory response in our body. And that's what causes a lot of these diseases, because over time, chronic inflammation is not good for us.
Especially around the heart.
Heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you say plaque, do you mean cholesterol? Is that what that is?
Well, cholesterol creates...
Also, quick note for anybody listening or watching, Mike and I do not have PhDs. This is just...
I'm not...
This is internet knowledge.
Opinions of two normal people.
Yes.
One with a washboard.
I've learned enough in order to explain it.
Continue.
I've learned enough in order to explain it, but yeah, I'm not a doctor in this situation. But I should mention, doctors need almost, like, they need to do about 2 hours of nutrition work before they can become PhDs.
That is ridiculous.
Don't listen to your doctor about nutrition, because like they probably don't know.
I mean,
no, that actually is absurd.
They probably don't.
They might though.
They're going to tell you what the American like Dietetic Association.
Not every doctor.
Not every doctor.
But what people are starting to learn is that, you know, there's this massive influx in anxiety and depression in our society. A lot of it is probably linked to diet.
For sure.
Yeah.
And people are just not understanding that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel the same way? Like, you're starting to eat clean too, correct?
Yeah, because I think as I started like studying nutrition and like diets more, like I realized how like messed up just like the daily eating habits of like the normal American is.
It's crazy
compared to like other countries.
It's terrible.
It's awful.
Yeah, I'm not out here saying that everyone needs to like be like strictly vegan, reading labels, but like I just want people to eat more vegetables and fruits. Like that's really all it comes down to. More beans instead of meat. Like you'll feel better.
Beans are the wave.
So one thing I'm not vegan. I am strict about my diet, but I'm not vegan because I want to get that protein in. You feel me? So for someone who's trying to bulk up, right, or maintain muscle mass, how are you going to do it on a vegan diet?
I mean, like, have you heard of the movie The Game Changers coming out?
I have not.
It's directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jackie Chan.
Okay.
Actually, James Cameron is the one doing the executive directing, who's the Avatar director. And it's all about vegan bodybuilding and, like, erasing these stigmas that you need to eat meat to get protein when it exists in, like, bountiful amounts in a vegan diet. So, like, there's a quote that says...
It's protein, but it's not animal protein.
Yes.
Which
protein.
has the most growth hormone in it.
Sure, if you want, like, the growth hormone of another animal. But
Yeah,
like you can
I'm a
still
sicko. Continue.
Josh is stone faced. Where was I there?
You were talking about the 18?
Oh yeah,
Or the Game Changer.
This
is like the same movie, right? Like Terry Crews.
yeah,
like.
pretty much. So what they show is that like one, you can get like hundreds of grams of protein if you want on a vegan diet. But two,
what would you eat specifically?
beans, tofu, broccoli, peas have a ton of protein. There's like foods called tempeh, and
What is tempeh?
grains have a ton of protein.
Seitan.
Seitan.
What is seitan?
Seitan is, good call.
Thank you.
It's made from the protein found in wheat. So wheat gluten.
Sounds wildly unappetizing, bro.
It's not
Now
good.
you like it.
The one thing I will say is
It is not. The foods are not that good tasting.
The like protein alternatives, yeah. Like obviously like vegetables are dope. Like I love sweet potatoes and shit like that, but like the tofurkey, bro. Ugh.
What's tofurkey?
It's supposed to be like a sausage, but it's plant based.
You don't need to have the tofurkey.
You don't want to have this.
So what's like a base meal for you? You're trying to get some proteins in. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna do a lot of brown rice, a lot of broccoli, sweet potato, avocado, tons of beans. At Chipotle, you can literally get all of what I just said
Without the meat.
Sofritas
Yeah,
at Chipotle.
Yeah.
Tofu based, the best option at Chipotle before and after being vegan. So good.
Yeah, it's fire. It's actually really
And
good.
you get those fajita veggies too.
hmm
So, how are you going to entice somebody to start this diet? Like, what would you say? Like, yo, honestly, if you're going to try this out, this is something that will definitely happen for you.
Can I speak to that? Because I'm somebody who
Yeah.
just like started.
Please
Go
do.
ahead.
Yeah, so like for me, it was like there was a couple points. The main thing was the health aspect of it. It was like I don't want to die of a heart attack in my 50s. Like God forbid, you know what I mean?
Dude, you're not going to die in your 50s.
I mean, could die tomorrow. You don't know.
If anyone's dying first, it's me. Continue though.
Well, I hope not.
Well, bro, I have the worst habits, even though I'm like too healthy. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going though.
All right, yeah, just move on.
All right.
So the health thing was like the first point of it. The second thing, and this was huge for me, was like the environmental impact of like the meat and dairy industry, which is crazy. And I had no idea about this before Mike like showed me some stuff about this, like the Netflix documentary Cowspiracy.
Was this the thing on the like the Walmart milk company?
No, that was the ethical treatment of the animals.
Yeah,
The fair life.
This is more about like literally the environmental impact that like
the production of meat has.
It's crazy. Like a cow eats about 100 to 150 pounds of grain a day. So like we need to grow an insane amount of grain to feed all the cows that we like need for milk and beef.
And why is that bad?
So can I drop a couple facts?
Get in here.
Over half of the grain grown across the entire world is not fed to human beings. It's fed to livestock, pigs, cows, sheep, etc., to then fatten them up so then we can eat them. We could feed over 10 billion people in the world if we used all of the food that we're growing for human beings. So
the food that we're growing for pigs,
yes.
instead we use that
Yes.
to feed humans.
On 1 acre of land, you can grow 50,000 pounds of potatoes, 40,000 pounds of tomatoes, 30,000 pounds of carrots. On that same acre of land, you can grow 250 pounds of meat. So this process is extremely unsustainable. 85% of the world's soy is not grown for human beings. It's not coming to edamame and tofu. It's going into feed for animals. Not only is that like so sad for the people who are dying of hunger throughout the world, but it's destroying our rainforests. So like, I'm sure you guys have heard about the rainforest that's burning right now.
The Amazon.
The Amazon, yeah, the big rainforest.
It's the world's biggest.
That 25% of the oxygen comes from that rainforest. Do you know why it's burning?
Because they're trying to
Wait.
open it up for.
Wait, let's just give it a second for a dramatic effect. Ask the question one more time.
Why is the Amazon burning?
Big Fresh.
Boo.
Well, I heard it was because they're trying to like open up more farmland to like grow more, grains and food and whatnot.
Yeah,
Is that true?
so like I think there's a big misconception that, and that's correct, that it's just wildfire, like another like global warming type thing, wildfires, but really it's intentional burning of the forest by cattle farmers. So they burn the land and then they open it up for grazing of cows and
They were
pigs.
trying to make the fires controlled.
Yes.
And then it just
and then
spread.
it spread. Yes.
What's the status of it right now, the fire? Do you guys know?
I do not.
I do not either. But I know that the president of Brazil is not accepting money from the United States and other countries because the president is so funded by the meat and dairy industries.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The same way like big oil or any other private company with public interest has lobbyists. Same thing for the meat and dairy industry, and they're powerful.
Okay.
They are spending millions upon millions of dollars every single day to make it so we do not question the health effects or the environmental effects or the ethical treatment of animals.
Like, you remember when you were in school and you learned about, like, the food pyramid?
Yes.
And, like, dairy is a fat slice of that. And so is meat. Like, who do you think made that?
I feel you. I'm starting to learn at this age, too, that a lot of the stuff we learned, you got to think of the people who are actually teaching you.
And that's why it's
Exactly.
hard. It's hard because, like, I don't judge or blame anyone for how they eat or like.
He blames so many people.
I do not.
Yeah,
because
don't be don't be one of those.
I'm not.
He
because
is.
I am not. Because I once didn't know any of this stuff.
So, okay, quick segue.
Segue it.
So, we're in the kitchen, right? Schuback's over here. He's like, all right, I did the vegan for 30 days. Then
I still haven't eaten meat, by the way.
Oh, so are you vegetarian? Or?
Yeah, I've had dairy products here and
Okay.
there.
So, let's say Schuback, he just celebrated #1 record. He's like, I'm going to make myself some bacon.
Mm-hmm.
He whips up that bacon. There's no way that the scent comes into your nose, though, and it doesn't trigger something in your brain. We're like, yo, that smells fire.
Smells so good. But I have watched hours upon hours of slaughterhouse footage.
This guy is ridiculous.
Houses of slaughter. That's what they're called, and they're legal and they're necessary.
That is one terrible thing. Is the way they treat animals is awful.
So I personally care less about the treatment of animals.
You are sick.
I know. I'm sick in the head because
But that's what everybody thinks of a vegan.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't.
Well, there's a connotation with vegans right now where it's my way or no way,
Yeah,
which you're familiar with, right?
definitely. But I think like we also need to like, if you watch a lot of slaughterhouse footage and then you go and like buy like a bacon sandwich, I'm not saying you should be like chastised, but like all of our actions have consequences. You know what I mean? So like, if like have you seen like an hour of pigs just getting killed? Like it's terrible to watch.
So you, after 10 minutes, you kept watching for 50 more minutes?
It's brutal, bro. I have to, because then if I don't watch it, how am I going to tell people what happens? People got to know about this.
Okay. All right, nonetheless. So,
I have two questions.
please.
One is, so like, when you eat like junk food and stuff like that, like the sugar is like the addicting part, and like that's why it's so hard for some people to kick it. What is it about meat that's like, when you smell it, you're like, oh, I want that, or like when you eat it, you just like can't like let it go?
I'm not sure 100%, but
Right.
we have this, it's called the pleasure trap. And it's basically like we crave foods that are the most caloric, that are the densest, because like biologically, evolutionarily, we are drawn to these foods that will give us a lot of energy so we won't die.
Right.
Now we drive a car to the supermarket and can get whatever we want. We don't need to be eating meat to get through a famine. Instead we pack it on like ounces of meat a day.
I concur, and I know what you're saying, but there is something very evolutionary about the earliest humans eating both veggies, aka leaves and plants, and animals. So why go vegan if you could just go paleo with organic meats?
Because
Organic.
Well, I think like obviously the environmental impact, like that there's not really like a big debate there. Like we know that it's not great for the environment, but you could be a whole food plant-based person and just like eat the foods because they're best for your health. I have gone like even further, and I consider myself like an ethical vegan. So when I see like a burger or a chicken, like I've associated that too much with just like things dying. Like I've been asked 2 times, like if I want a chicken sandwich, like would I slit the throat of a chicken in front of me, or would I let someone else do that in front of me?
This is sick.
And I'm just like,
This
no.
is actually sick.
Would you slit the throat of a chicken in front of you if you wanted a chicken sandwich?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Where's that chicken sandwich coming from? Is that Chick-fil-A?
I mean, it's in front of you.
So the chicken's right there.
Chicken's on this stool right here. It's
And-
just chilling.
And the chicken is...
And you say, I want a spicy Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Fire.
But
in
you have to take the chicken and just slice its throat.
Game of Thrones style.
Yes. Would you do that? Or would you have a veggie burger from Chick-fil-A that tastes spicy?
Bro, honestly.
Spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that chicken sandwich.
There you go. That's your prerogative.
Hey, chicken sandwich boys are in the building.
You would not slaughter the chicken, Josh.
All right,
You don't know me?
Yeah, I do.
One more
I
quick,
wouldn't. I
one more
couldn't.
quick segue on the vegan.
Yeah.
Mike, I've also think I'll commend you. You've done a very transparent job at explaining your point. Great work.
Thank you.
It's probably all that vegan cognition, that clear mindedness.
Look at his skin.
That's what I was gonna say, bro. So even
Chill
if,
glowing.
dude, this guy's skin is radiating, radiatingly clean skin. Is this an effect of the vegan diet, dude? You look like a freshly baked cookie.
I appreciate that. Maybe. I do know that when people like have acne and they quit dairy and they quit meat, like
And sugars.
Why?
Sugars, just gotta cut the sugars.
Sure, no sugars.
Mike, you gotta cut the sugars.
All right, no sugars. I know that helps a lot. There's a ton of videos you can look up, like meat and acne. I know dairy and acne because like if you're eating dairy, you're eating all of the estrogen, the testosterone, the cortisol, all of these hormones from, another animal. That's all getting in our system, and like acne is caused by like infections, and a lot of it's hormonal. So when you stop eating the hormones of other animals, you just have your own hormones. You only have your cholesterol, and I think that would definitely help with acne.
Science aside, vegan Mike, aka Surf Mike, is vegan and he's got clean skin. That's just a good selling point. And
Boom.
I think we got a solid clip.
Yeah, hold on. Wait.
Big
Second
Fresh.
question.
Oh, yeah.
So
Big Fresh, you got nice skin too, bro.
Yeah, I
thank
was
you.
about to say.
No
I try
cap.
to drink a lot of water. I think that's the
Water
secret.
is
Yeah.
essential.
Water,
More water.
coffee.
But I was gonna ask. I don't know how much research you've done into this, but like you've seen like the synthetic meat like kind of videos. Do you see that as like a viable low emission alternative to meat?
So synthetic, you mean like in a lab grown?
Lab grown,
with
yeah.
cells. Yeah, I think that's for someone who cares about the ethics of animals. Like for sure, I think that's way better if we progress to that point where we can grow a burger from.
Wait, they can grow meat in a lab?
Yeah.
In the same way
They
we
do that now?
In the same way we produce.
I don't
like,
think it's
hearts
been
and
like
brains and stuff.
approved by the FDA
Tissue.
yet, but like
People
you
have
know they've
eaten
made
that?
burgers out of like
It's
lab grown meat.
It's years away before we like say that's cool. I
Like-
think people would be.
but,
So
like,
you mean
mole-
like people are putting like meat into like beakers and stuff?
Yeah, and then it grows. You give it like the proper like food it needs.
Yeah.
It's like molecularly, it's like exactly the same as
Big
meat.
pass, big pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's still gonna create. I still think health effects. Like we would still see much of the same like
Oh yeah, for sure.
like bad stuff for the American people or people everywhere.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
But
at
it's
that point
cool.
you might
It's
just
cool.
go Joe
I feel like
Rogan
if you
and
can
hunt
grow the
yourself.
meat, you can also extract some of the, you know, the harmful
Yeah,
parts of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have antibiotics. You wouldn't have like the stuff they're shooting into the meat, but you would have the effects of animal protein, like the
Right.
acidosis, the inflammation. So
One thing I will tell you though is what's nice about both the internet and this new health consciousness is that this video, when this goes up, will be here in 20 years still. That's the thing about the internet. And there will be much more concrete studies on a lot of these diets because they're so early, and we'll be able to look back and we'll either be like, dude, we were so right, or dude, we were terribly wrong.
You know, I think in 20 years you're gonna listen to this while you're eating like a synthetic burger.
Probably.
Yeah.
I know, and my wife's going to be a robot. What's up, shorty? All right, so listen, segue. Mike, great work.
thank you, Connor.
You guys having fun? You enjoying yourself?
Yeah, what time is it, by the way?
Oh, big Hollywood. What time you got class?
10:30.
Okay. Then we got about hashtag 13 minutes. It's 9:50.
Beautiful.
So, listen, Josh,
Connor,
for content,
Big Bochi.
for the kids,
I'm going to do something for the kids right now.
dude, you're a fearless leader.
I only really do it for the kids, to be honest.
That's a fact, bro. And yo, you're going to be a great dad.
Thanks, man. I've heard that before.
I kind of think you will be a great dad.
One of you will make a great mother.
He's quoting The Office, and
Office
he's doing
joke.
a terrible job.
Office joke.
Office joke.
Not the
You watch The Office?
Sorry, not the
I
time.
don't.
I
But
don't remember
You don't
that
watch
quote
that,
though.
really?
I don't-
Who says
I
that?
don't
You're
really
one
watch
of
it.
I think
very
it's,
few white
uh,
people who
it's
have
Michael
not seen The
Scott.
Office.
I saw
Look
Creed
to your
Bratton
left, look
live.
to your right.
Really?
One of
Yeah.
you will die. One of you, I don't know.
Dude, you know he has #1 hits, right? Creed
Yeah, he
Bratton?
was like a
Dude, he-
legend back in the
Dude,
day.
he has #1 Billboard hits.
That's so funny.
And so his whole shtick was it was like comedy intertwined with a lot of his songs. And
Right.
dude, people at the end, I saw Creed Bratton live, were bawling their eyes out when he played the Office song because
Oh,
the
really?
show's over. It was a packed show at Middle East downstairs, and people were bawling.
Well, his character in the show is roughly based on him in real life. Like in the
No,
show,
he's the same dude. He was the same exact dude.
Yeah, like he was like in the show. He plays the guy who was like in a band and like.
And his name's Creed. And
Yeah,
his real,
Creed Bratton.
Yeah.
That's his name in the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, segue though.
Yeah.
So, there is a lot I think people don't necessarily understand that is going on in Boston music, specifically out of the studio. And I know since we're all been around the studio, it doesn't seem like that it's that big of a deal. But I tell other people these experiences that are going on in the studio that are connected to Boston music, and they're like, dude, I cannot believe that that's happening. And so ultimately, I think it's very hopeful for what's going on in Boston.
Yeah, for sure.
And so can you kind of elaborate on some of your experiences recently and how they've transpired?
Yeah, so there's some stuff like I can't talk about, and there's some stuff I can, but like what I can say is there is so much talent in Boston right now through all facets of music. I'm talking like from artists in different genres, but mainly hip hop, to producers to engineers now. There is a high concentration, it's really at Phoenix Down, of talented people who are giving this their all. Which, I mean, I'm from, suburbs of New York, so I don't really know what it was like before, but you might have a better idea than me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever been like that.
Yeah, well, I think specifically, I know you can't talk about everything going on, but Josh has worked with major commercial artists.
Yeah, but even on like the local side, like you have artists now who are on their getting pretty big, able to sell out shows at like Brighton Music Hall or whatnot, and they're working together. Like Millie's, G.O.D., D the Flyest, more who I can't think of right now, but those are the first three that come to mind that like are like in this together and are trying to like lift each other up. Like when one of them does well, they all do well, which is super dope.
I think I agree. I also think for people who are getting into Boston music, a lot of people previously wouldn't think, and I believe you can attest to this, but a lot of people previously would think, okay, you come here, there's no way you could have a major commercial shot at anything. Yeah. The fact that there are actually these massive commercial industry artists coming here and working within the city and in the studio is a much bigger deal than I think people realize. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think that's why you see so many artists popping out of Atlanta so often, is because everyone there is so like good about like helping each other up and kind of putting other people on. Like Young Thug, like he could have been like, nah, like everyone's trying to copy my sound, I'm not gonna put him on, but he like literally like brought like 3, maybe 4 people like into like the limelight. And now
probably
they're all,
more.
Like, selling. Yeah,
when you really think about it.
Ton.
Yeah.
But I really think that's like what you're talking about with big commercial artists coming in. It's almost like a validation in a sense.
It's a hope thing for kids. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe Lil Baby has been in Boston.
Yeah, like the Lil Baby thing is huge because it's like, okay, this is a guy who's like kind of at the top of his game right now. He's
in
like,
the industry.
Yeah, throughout the country. Like, he's got hits with... He has 9 billion streams, which is crazy. Like, that's wild to think about.
Josh also, he helped mix Baby. I can say that. That's fine.
Maybe
it's out.
God's
I know. You know how I feel about that record.
You didn't like the second mix.
It changed a lot, yeah.
There was a line where it was like 2 wrists hit, which I really liked.
He took
It was in the final.
Yeah, he took that. Yeah, I think he took it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying what changed, the mixer or just the song structure?
Both. Because originally it was just a Lil Baby song.
The one thing I will tell you is that when I heard that in the studio, everyone, you heard it the first time.
He's heard the original version.
It's fire. But when I heard it for the first time, bro, and I was looking at Josh, I was like, yo, bro, this is so dope. This is sick.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy because, like, to have somebody like that, like you said, like a commercial industry artist come in and, like, validate what we're doing and tell us that we're dope. Like, it's awesome,
In this, like, little studio in Boston. You know what I'm saying?
It's hope. Like you said, it's like we're really doing this and we can do this. At the same time, a lot of the infrastructure is missing from Boston. You don't have A&Rs coming through. You don't have labels with offices in Boston, who are scouting talent. So, like, to take that next step, I do think a lot of artists do have to look towards New York, which is pretty close, or LA.
See, that's one thing. So, early on in the show, I had this shtick where I was like, yo, Boston entertainment is next. And I still feel that way. But listen, I still feel that way about certain things. But do you remember I asked Dave Wedge? I was like,
Who's Dave Wedge?
This is the guy who wrote the Mark Wahlberg movie, Patriots Day. I was like, what's it going to take, man? He's like, it's never going to happen. LA, New York will always be superior. It's true. It's because of the infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly. You can't like build that stuff in a day or a year even. So.
Yeah, they've just been doing it.
Yeah, and they're all there. Like all the labels have offices in either New York or LA. So it's like, why would they come to Boston?
But have you noticed there's a niche for people trying to do stuff in Boston because it's so undersaturated? If you just actually put the work in.
Yeah, and what you realize really quickly is that like you can kind of meet everyone who's doing it very quickly, because Boston's not that big, and it's like.
Especially creative niche, you've noticed it's pretty small.
Yeah, like I know most of the guys doing it now, and it's like they're all good guys, and I think a lot of that has to do with like you don't have that infrastructure in place to, turn people into stars, or in their own mind turn them into stars. So people are just kind of like stay working, stay humble, and that's a huge part of like the Boston mentality. And
also, it's very Boston because it's so many people wear so many different hats that it's like 21-year-olds that were like helping manage like the studio that's moving the most. It's like
you
very
ever think
Boston.
about that? It's crazy.
Well, it's the truth though. And like in LA, it'd be like a 45-year-old dude who has like years.
Yeah,
of music
in LA,
experience.
we would still be interns at a studio. Probably.
You'd be interns for years.
Yeah, before we even get to like touch a board or anything.
Yeah, which is fire. But yeah, that's just like totally Boston, And Josh is also like an engineering prodigy. How long have you been like heavy on engineering now? Like a year and a half?
Yeah, so like I hadn't like
you just watched
touched Pro Tools until like maybe 14 months ago.
Yeah, and so he's already like working with these major commercial artists, and he's 21.
Only getting better.
Most engineers, like, when do they hit their pinnacle? They can do it their whole life, right?
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm trying to beat, is that like you see the top engineers, I'm talking the guys who are doing like all the Billboard hits, are all over 30 at least.
Rick Rubin.
I mean, he's a producer, but that's like,
But he engineers as well, right?
A little bit, but he's mainly a producer. But like I'm talking like Manny American, Tony Maserati, Jason Joshua. Those are like the big three. They're doing like the Beyonce, the Justin Bieber records, the Ed Sheeran records, what I'm talking, just like the top of the top. And like the Sway Lee, Travis Scott, whatever it be. They're all like at least 35, and they've been doing this forever. Because what do you learn about engineering? And like I'm starting to learn, this is like you just build up like this catalog in your brain of like information that you can just pull on for any song. Like, oh, I've seen this in that song before, and I know it will work here. And the more you have of that, the more like wealth of knowledge you can draw upon, the better your mixes
Callous in
get.
your brain, kind of.
Yeah, like, oh, I've seen shakers in this type of song, so I know what to do with the shakers or whatever it is.
Yeah, that was one thing I learned from John too. He was like, dude, like, people act like engineering's not creative, but like the computer's my instrument.
Oh, it's hella creative. I don't get people who say that. There is a technical side that's more like sciencey, I guess you could say, for sure. But like that's the thing about engineers. Like at some point, every engineer knows the same stuff. We know how EQs work. We know how compressors work. You know
when to do certain things. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a marker.
That was my phone.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Did it crack?
No, it looks like it landed on its back.
It's back.
She lives.
So like, yeah, but like, so that what it really comes down to as an engineer then is like your taste.
Mm-hmm.
If we're all using the same tools and we all know how to use them, like you're selling your taste at the end of the day.
So, real quick segue before we end. What did you learn specifically from your experience in the studio? Because I mean, I honestly down the line, quick shout out, Mike is now working with Mikey Bonkers, pretty fire. But
And about Gladians.
yeah, was it nice having practical business experience? The studio is technically a startup. Did you learn a lot?
For sure. I think it was really cool hearing a song sound terrible when an artist created
Don't
it.
say that.
And then have Josh or John or
Put the sauce
the other
on it.
engineer, Leo.
Or
just
Leo.
like- I was going to say Leo.
Shout out Leo.
Shout out
mixed it.
Leo mixed it.
Fire engineer and producer.
On the way up.
Homie.
The boy.
Legend.
Shout
He's
out to
got to
Leo.
get on here.
Shout out to Leo.
Actually, he might not be good at this. I can see
Anyways,
him being a bad
It
engineer.
was amazing hearing. He's a great guy.
Great guy.
It was really
Leo.
cool seeing a bad song turn into like something that I would listen to. Just because.
I mean, for you though, practical skill wise.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was I've had like 3 or 4 bosses in my life before this, maybe like 3 actual ones. So like it was cool working with another person, seeing how not that Josh was my boss, we were equals.
I was Mike's boss. He was below me all summer.
We worked together.
That is not true.
It was very cool
Collaborated.
to just have that experience of like trying to grow something authentically. You know, like I was the one like going to Home Depot, getting paint and painting a wall. Like that's fun. You know, I was helping grow a place. I was helping making it look better. You know, that's a cool experience that if you're in an executive role when you're 50, you don't always do.
You're not painting walls.
No, you're not painting walls.
Hey, guess who painted these walls?
Was it you?
Was it yourself?
To be an Aquaman, yeah.
So is that Jack?
That's Jack, yeah.
You went for the all black look. I like it.
Yes, sir. Like the rugby
What
team,
color
all
were they?
blacks. That's at Juventus.
Juventus.
Juventus, excuse
People
me.
say, is it
Sorry, tough, smart,
Isn't it a
dumb.
hard J? Juventus.
I thought it was Juventus.
I think it's Juventus.
It's definitely Juventus.
Evan, our friend Evan called it Juventus.
As a joke, Mike.
Oh, 'cause Josh is Jewish.
That's funny. That's funny.
I get it.
As a joke, see, I have poor
I know.
cognitive ability.
That's why I was his boss.
Hey, man. Thank you, boss.
Josh, real quick, before we end. One, I actually think we got some great value. What did you like, the vegan clip?
Yeah.
And we'll
yeah.
do Josh
Definitely.
and music clip.
I think one of each will definitely work. Yeah.
Cool.
Sublime.
Hey, listen, real quick question for you.
Yeah.
What have you learned specifically from an operational standpoint? Because one thing I will say is that, and I said it earlier, is you've improved a lot operationally, understanding, okay, you got to communicate with this person to make sure this person happens, this, that, the other. And down the line, you're an engineer, but do you ever see yourself transitioning into a more administrative role in music?
Absolutely. You and I have talked about this forever. I look at like what Jimmy Iovine did starting. You know, Jimmy Iovine was an engineer. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but he worked on like Bruce Records. I think he got his big break. Like he got to record John Lennon as like an assistant, which was crazy. But like moved eventually into more of an executive position, and that's definitely something I see myself doing because
You want to be a boss?
I just think I have a knack for that stuff too. Like the same way I have a knack for engineering. Like I see myself in like a boardroom or whatever it may be, like doing business. Also, like I'm gonna have an economics degree from Tufts, so like.
I'm just going to tell you right now, you guys will leave with your degrees and you're like, wait, what is this thing?
But yeah, on an operational standpoint, I guess.
I think you have most fun with that.
Yeah, I like it when things go how they're supposed
Smooth.
to. Yeah, when things run smooth and you can kind of be like, I did that.
And creating a system, you guys agree?
Yeah, that's a huge thing. People knowing what they have to do when they come in every day is huge, and I've learned that through like the intern process, which I was in charge of this summer. Like if they just come in and they don't know what they're supposed to do and they're just like sitting on the couch making a beat, like it's terrible.
Yeah.
So like now, like they know, like they have
Clean
to
the
do
floors.
Floors. I mean, we don't have to go into all the details. But
It's
like,
just transparency. It's
yeah,
like totally
transparency.
important.
Yeah, and then just like just because you're somebody's boss doesn't mean you like talk down to them or anything like that. Like
The best leaders is you have to serve the people that are technically,
Yeah, because you're not the one doing what like you ask them to do something and they're doing it, so you can't speak on how like that process is, if that makes sense.
Exactly. It's a team, man.
Yeah, it's a team, and I think John's learning that too. Because like I said, John was by himself for like 5-6 years.
It's tough, especially when you build something up on your own.
Yeah, it's like his baby, and now it's like everybody's baby.
Baby putting on for the city.
Baby got children.
Come on. Do you get
Picking
it?
on both wrists hit. Woo!
All right.
You'll never hear that one.
Hey, listen, these young men have to go to class.
That's true.
So this is how we start in the end of the episode.
Hi, I'm Josh Schuback, and this was my platinum hour.
I'm like,
I don't know what we're
Oh, true. This is just gonna be
We'll probably call this Phoenix Down. We'll probably call it Phoenix Down.
Boston Broccolinis.
I don't think we'll call it
No,
the Boston.
let's not
We'll
do
probably Phoenix Down's Golden Hour. That's probably what we'll call it. We'll probably say Boston Studio because remember the SEO stuff we were talking about.
Yeah.
We'll probably say Boston Studio Phoenix Down Recordings Golden Hour.
Okay.
I think you can still say your name though, right?
They should definitely.
But
you
it's
say
not
we're
my
from.
platinum hour.
We're
We'll just
from.
title it as Phoenix Down.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Josh Schuback, and this was the Phoenix Down Golden Hour.
Oh, we gotta pass it off to Surf Mickety.
hi, I'm Mike Kendler, a.k.a. Surf Mike, and this was Boston Studio Phoenix Downs Golden Hour.
No. It's
That
this
was-
is and that was. It's this is.
Oh, we have to do both.
Yeah, you gotta do both.
Ugh.
And that was Boston Studio
I would
Phoenix
just
Downs.
say this is my golden hour, but we'll just like on the YouTube thing, we'll title it.
I would say,
Phoenix Down
hey, I'm
Studios.
Josh Schuback. You guys know me.
I don't know who I am
And
anymore.
this is, and then you say, hey, I'm Mike. and this is, right? And then this is my golden hour. And then you'd say the same thing, break.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Josh. And that was my golden hour.
Everyone's got to whisper it down.
You gotta take a step back.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yo, we should do an ASMR episode.
Say it, Josh. Say it. Hi, I'm Josh Schuback.
Hi, I'm Josh Schuback,
And I'm Surf Mike.
and this was our golden hour.
No.
You
This
gotta-
is,
Oh
and
my
that
God.
was.
This is my golden hour.
This is my golden hour.
Hi, I'm Josh Schuback. Hi, I'm Josh Schuback,
And I'm Mike Kendler.
and this is our golden hour.
Nice. Next.
All right, let's flip it.
Hi, I'm Mike Kendler.
Hi, I'm Josh Schuback.
And that was our golden hour. Boom.
Good stuff, plant-based Mike. Abu,
Cool.
you let me know. Good?
Voila.
Thanks for having us.
Handshake. We're cut. I love the mic so much. I just don't even want to.
Can you put the mic down?
I don't know. I feel like-